If you're involved in educating, parenting, leading, caring for, problem solving, or serving others in any capacity, or if you're simply getting ready to go back to school as an educator or an administrator, or staying home and teaching your kids remotely, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to share my thoughts on the absolute most important thing that we can do for ourselves this year. Greetings and welcome. I'm Nicolette. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time visiting this channel and you're interested in receiving more of my videos on mindset, mindfulness, and motivation for being, doing, and serving with intention, then please go ahead and subscribe. Be sure to turn on your notification bell so that you won't miss the next video. So let's get into this video and what I'm here to share today. So as I said, if you are involved in educating, parenting, leading, caring for, problem solving, or serving, you know firsthand how much responsibility has gone into doing any of those things during this pandemic. You also know how important it is for you as someone who pours into others to pour into yourself. And today, that's exactly what I want to take some time talking about, because I feel that it is the one thing that we need to prioritize for this year. And I'm calling it prioritizing our IAs. So I will talk a little bit about what that stands for, but I want to start by just setting a context for what I want to share today. So first of all, for many of us, including people who do not work in the education space, back to school time or September, anytime starting, early August, for those out in the West Coast and places of warmer climates, and for those of us out here in the East Coast, where we start usually at the end of August or September, this time of year is usually all about getting serious. The summer is wrapping up, fall is approaching, the weather is cooling off a little bit. It's about, starting to hunker down and to think about the upcoming new year, but to start our academic year now. So it's a time for reflection, for looking back and looking ahead. And that's exactly what I would like to spend some time talking about and just giving an overview of right now. So because we know that this is a critical time, especially right now where things are so unpredictable, many of us don't know what to expect for the rest of the year. However, even with that, with those expectations or not, there are some things that are within our control. And those are the things that we choose to dedicate our time and energy on. So our time and energy are the two things to which there are some limits. So if we think about the world as a whole, we know that there's no limit of ideas, there's no limit of activities, of things that we can get into. However, there is a limit on time. The limit is that each day has only 24 hours in it. And the way we choose to use that 24 hours of each day determines how we live our lives and the life that we are living. So everyone, no matter who they are, from the richest person, who I think right now that might be Jeff Bezos, or if he's not, I know he's definitely up there, Oprah, Beyonce, all of these people with a lot of money, no matter how much money they have, they cannot buy one more minute in a day. What they can do is to choose more so how they want to spend their day, because money affords them more of the opportunity to choose that. However, we have the same opportunity even without all of that money. We can all choose how to spend the time that we have been given. What do we want to do in order to do that most effectively? Well, I mentioned some of those. One idea for that in one of the most recent videos where I shared listing our ETPs, which is simply creating a list of our errands, our tasks, and our priorities so that we can focus our time on getting those things done. But what is the reason for focusing our time on getting those things done? It's so that we can free up our time to then really prioritize what I call my IAs. So my IAs are my investment activities. Investment activities. So what are investment activities? Investment activities are the things that are most important to me because they give me the greatest return on my investment. And that return on investment is being spent or returned to investing in myself so that I can continue to invest and pour into others. Now, by this time, I'm sure you have heard the word self-care somewhere because it has become sort of very, very trendy. And in the thinking about self-care, a lot of people mistakenly think that it's all about, you know, what kind of products do you use on your skin or what are you using in your hair and things like that. But that's not what self-care is about. Self-care is any activity that we do intentionally in order to take care of our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. And one of the ideas that I want to impress upon you is that health is not simply the absence of illness. Health is the presence of wellness. And that is a different way of looking at taking care of ourselves because being well isn't simply not being sick. There's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more intention towards keeping and being well. And that's where true self-care comes in. The other aspect of self-care that people sort of have some beliefs about that should be disabused and dispelled is that self-care involves some type of self-indulgence or some type of selfish act because you're focusing on yourself. That is the complete opposite of what true self-care is all about. Self-care is an act of self-preservation, and it's also an act of generosity towards the people that we love and the people that we serve. Because by nourishing our most important relationship, the one we have with ourselves, we are afforded the ability to give the best of ourselves to the people that we love and to the people that we serve. Taking care of ourselves also does something very simple, and that helps us to avoid burnout. For most of us, the thing that we do, our verb, whether that's educate, create, share, sell, problem solve, or share, we do these things because we care about this. This is what we love to do. This is our passion. This is where we live and breathe. So in order to continue to do the thing that we love, we want to avoid being burnt out. We also want to avoid what is called compassion fatigue that usually happens to people like us who give out a lot. We also can experience the fatigue of being drained by constantly giving out and giving out and giving out and not taking in and refueling ourselves. So we want to make sure that we are putting in more, if not an equal amount of what we are giving out. So now, why get better at managing or listing our ETPs, or what I referred to earlier as our errands, tasks, and projects? It's so that we have the time to really prioritize what I call my IAs. So what are IAs? IAs are investment activities. Investment activities. What are investment activities? Investment activities are the things that we engage in or should engage in because they give us the biggest bang for our bucks. They are the things that give us the greatest return on our time investment. So out of our 24 hours in the day, we have to be able to also do the things that are going to sustain us as we do the other things for other people. So what are those things? Those things are the most important workouts that we can do each day. We all know that we need to work out our bodies. However, in addition to our bodies, we have to dedicate some workout time to developing and strengthening our minds, to developing and strengthening our emotional being, and to developing and strengthening our spiritual selves as well. How do we do all of this? It's by taking the time to schedule and list those other activities, and then also taking the time to schedule and list our IAs as well, because these are things that we have to do for ourselves. We must do these things for ourselves so that we can be better at doing the other things that we need to do for others. So since this is just a quick overview of the idea, I do plan to get more in depth in subsequent videos about how to really go about using some of the tools that I mentioned in the list making, and also getting deeper into how to plan and schedule our IAs. But what are the things that we need to do every day in terms of our investment activities? We need to sleep. We need to sleep. Sleep usually gets short shrift. When people get busy, they always cut back on sleep. We need sleep in order to rejuvenate and revive and to renew our bodies at the cellular level. So sleep is not something to scrimp on. We have to get our own, whatever it is for you. Some people can operate optimally, like I can, on 5 hours of sleep. Others need anywhere from 6 to 8 and maybe even 9 hours. The task is to figure out for yourself what is your optimal number of sleep and to make sure you get it. The other thing we need to do for ourselves is to get some type of physical movement. We call that exercise, you call it working out, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but you have to get that movement in. And research has shown that at least 20 minutes of high intensity interval training can produce a positive benefit for us, or longer periods of sustained activity. So again, it's working with yourself to figure out what works for you, for your goal. And the goal is what you would need to think about. Is your goal just sustained health? Is it to lose weight? There's a variety of different things that we can talk about later. There's another portion that we need to focus on, and it is our mind. Every day, we need to give our mind and the purposeful, intentional development of our mind attention. We can't just go through a day with all of the things that the day will throw at us without taking some time to actually developing and strengthening our mind. So it's also something that needs to be scheduled. We need to eat optimally in order to fuel our body to do the things that we need to do, because again, we don't get several bodies as we go through life. We get the one, and it is our responsibility to take care of it. The other thing that we need to do is to search inside ourselves so that we can know ourselves, so that we can learn these things about ourselves. When are our optimal times of energy? When are we not at our optimal time? When is the best time for us to get certain tasks and activities done? That comes from a level of self-awareness, and we need to take time to figure all that stuff out. And then whatever we can't figure out on our own, we need to develop the ability to ask for help. One of the things that I have found consistently, starting with myself and other people who often serve others, is that we're so busy doing things for other people that we seldomly ask for help ourselves. We have to learn how to ask for help. We can all get where we're going with by ourselves, but it's so much more fun, and we can get there faster with the help of other people. So we have to learn how to ask for help. So my goal for this school year is to continue to support those of us similar to myself who are also involved in serving, by starting now to think about what we want this year to look like. We have no control over what's going to happen and how it's all going to play out, but we do have control over how we will, or how we plan to create the days that we have ahead. So we want to start thinking now about what we want to achieve, what we want to accomplish, how we want to set up our goals and aspirations for the new year. So to that end, our next challenge is going to do just that. We're going to focus on our plans for the year, how we want to start the school year, and how we want to go into the start of the year for January, already on top of achieving the goals that we want to achieve and putting in place the intentions for how we want to be this year. So to that end, I've created a new 30-day 1-minute message series, and it starts on September 1st. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, If you want to receive those 1-minute messages daily, if you're already subscribed, you will definitely receive those. If you want to participate in the journaling series, I would encourage you to get a notebook, get a journal. Of course, you can use any notebook or journal. However, I would definitely encourage you to head over to my website, educatezen.org. When you visit the website, you can take a look at the journals that I have created and designed and published specifically for journaling, for introspection, reflection, and action. So you can visit the website rather, in order to get your hands on one of those journals before the challenge starts or as early into it as possible. So I hope that you have found this suggestion for self-care helpful. If you have and you found value in this video, go ahead and hit the like button, leave a comment, a question. I always respond. Again, if you would like to pick up a copy of the daily reflection journal that I've created, you can do so at educatezen.org. Lastly, if you would like to work with me on honing and developing your skills, digging deeper into your mindset, working on mindfulness, on achieving any of your goals, you can feel free to reach out to me on the same website that you'll be visiting to pick up your journal for the series. In the meantime, be well. Join me next time, and you can follow me on any of the social media platforms as Nicolette James. Take care.